Okay, so now that we've talked about Joy Taylor, so now that we've talked about Emmanuel Acho, the lawsuit, and Shannon Sharp, we got to ask the question. So, what was Skip Bayless's actual role in all this?
Lawyer spin that probably what Nushin argued, because Nushin and Skip, from my eyes, were very, very close. Saw them together constantly. She did his hair. They seemed very...
And obviously Marcellus Wiley, who I did not mention at the very beginning. Now, guys, the focal point of this video here is going to be primarily on Skip Bayless. There's going to be a couple of other things discussed in this video here, but before we get started, I want to go ahead and kind of address the elephant in the room. Number one, well, actually the two elephants in the room. Number one, this story right here probably will get worse and worse, as I've been saying the entire week, as I've been talking about this situation involving Nushin Faraji's lawsuit, Joy Taylor, Charlie Dixon, and of course all the other characters involved. But of course, after this video here, I'm going to kind of cool it for a little bit until more receipts come out, because I'm pretty sure more stuff is going to come out as a result of this. But still, though, this is probably going to be the last video on the topic. Also, something else, too. It'll probably be the only video that comes out on Friday. The reason why is because the video that I had scheduled for Friday to be the second video was on the Palisades fire in Southern California. That situation is getting worse and worse and worse by the second, not only because of the fire, but because of all the stuff that is coming out about the city of Los Angeles, the leadership in Los Angeles, and of course, Gavin Newsom. I'll put it this way here. Everything we've been saying about California, it was just a wind away from going completely crazy. I planned on doing that video and having it out tomorrow, but instead what I may do is I may do a video on it and put it out next week when we get more receipts, or I may choose to do the video on the third channel, the one that I was going to create a little bit later on this year, to talk about crime and incidents in simple history, because this was one of those situations where, once again, the media is trying to go out of its way to deny us what we actually see. Basically lie right straight to our face and run cover for the extremely incompetent governor of California. Still, though, thoughts and prayers to everybody out there. Please get out of there ASAP. Please don't burn up. But, of course, like I said before, we got to be real about the situation. The situation looks pretty bad. Now, with that right there out of the way, now let us go ahead and get to Skip Bayless's role in this lawsuit, or the fact that he is also included in the lawsuit. Before we get started, though, guys, make sure you guys please cut the notifications bell on. Please go ahead and hit the like button for the algorithm. Also, something else, too. Please subscribe if you guys are new here. Please consider subscribing. Also, if you guys can, I'd love to get a comment out of you guys, so that way you guys can tell me what you think. And let us go ahead and get into this. So, Nushin Faraji, she is the hairdresser that filed the lawsuit. And the lawsuit basically asserts, with all the receipts in there, that Joy Taylor at Fox Sports has basically been... let's just say she's been doing the horizontal hustle up the chain. That chain, of course, includes Charlie Dixon, head of content, Emmanuel Acho, who I believe she's currently involved with. We've talked about Acho a little bit this week. Of course, we've made fun of and picked on Acho more so this week. Of course, I did throw him in there in the second video for Thursday, where I actually point out the fact that he actually had a pretty good take. But still, though, there's this bit about the lawsuit where apparently Skip Bayless supposedly offered her $1.5 million to have a night with her, or an hour with her, or whatever you might want to call it. Well, see, the lawsuit says that Nushin Faraji shut him down, and Skip Bayless said, "But aren't you Muslim? Don't you guys have like 3 or 4 wives?" Talking about her father is what it was. And Faraji shut him down. Now, the reason why I'm bringing that up is because that's literally what the lawsuit says. However, there are a lot of people out there who have had experiences with Skip Bayless where they've said that none of this matches his personality. So I'm going to be giving you guys my personal thoughts on this. Stephen A. Smith came out right away and basically defended Skip Bayless and said, this right doesn't make any sense. This right is the same guy that you could struggle to get $1 out of to get a Coke, even though the cost of a Coke is roughly $2 to $3, depending on where you're at, depending on what size you're buying. Doesn't really make any sense. But then you get the guys at God Awful Announcing and people who work with him, I think, at First and 10. And they had a completely different view of Skip. Now, this right here, once again, came mostly through Jason Whitlock, but let's roll it anyways.
Well, here's Stephen A. talking about, oh, the Skip Bayless I know, he would never do that. I'm like, well, how well do you know Skip Bayless? Because I want to play you this clip of Jay Crawford talking about the Skip Bayless he knew. Now, listen to this clip and then start evaluating what Nusheen is alleging here. Let's play shot number 3.
On the actual story where they came to blows, and I think it said they ended up outside the studio on the New York City streets, like, that's not exactly how it happened. But I still got a big kick out of reading it, being there and watching it firsthand, because what happened in the meeting, it just randomly came up. Skip somehow leans back in his chair and he said, "I've had more sex than everybody in this room." And we were all looking at him like, first of all, what kind of thing is that to say? You know, like I said, we're not in junior high. Secondly, apropos of nothing we were talking about, Woody may have been, bragging about a conquest or something, and Skip just shoots him down by saying, "You have no idea."
Now, real quick, there's more bits from Whitlock than we play. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm using Jason Whitlock and Marcellus Wiley so much. Well, there's a reason for it. It's because they were Fox Sports hosts, okay? They were on the same show together, and they have a lot of knowledge about Fox Sports and how they do their operations. I think they're probably the two most valuable assets we have on the story right now. So before you go out there and just say that Jason Whitlock's not a part of the club anymore, that's probably one of the reasons why it is you might want to listen to him or Marcellus Wiley, because they're not exactly in the go along to get along crowd anymore. They were at one point in time, but they're not anymore. Still, though, you heard that. I can't help but think that Skip Bayless, for the most part, is just a great big giant blowhard. $1.5 million for a night when Skip Bayless could probably have any woman that he wanted. I understand Skip is old. He's getting old. It's like 73 years old. In this incident, he was probably like 70, maybe a little bit younger, maybe like 67, 68. Who the hell knows? But still, though, it's not like Skip is like out of shape or looks extremely old. I'm pretty sure he could pull a 30-year-old at the club without really breaking a sweat. I'm pretty sure he could if he wanted to, if he's on his game. But still, though, what the guys that got off on announcing were saying, that sounds almost like Ric Flair. Ric Flair had a bit a while back where I was reminded of it, where he had I think it was Maven. I would play the clip for you guys, but the WWE is really bad about copyright, where he told Maven, "I've had more world titles than you've had women." I get more that vibe there, but I think it's more false with Skip Bayless, whereas with Ric Flair, it's actually real. He's one of the few professional wrestlers out there, or former professional wrestlers, that actually lived his gimmick. I just don't see that out of Skip. I think it's mostly bravado. But that does not mean that Skip Bayless won't say something stupid or let something slip, like in the case of Jenny Taft.
The reference here is someone I really like and respect. I'm not accusing her of anything. I'm just telling you what happened, and you can go check the tape. What you don't know is what happened behind the scenes. But some of you will remember this. Skip Bayless insinuated, flat out somewhat stated, that Jenny Taft was having some sort of inappropriate relationship with Shannon Sharp. He said something about seeing her come out of Shannon's dressing room or something like that. And she got upset on air. But off air, as soon as that show was over, she ran upstairs and lit in to the executives. One executive in particular. About this, Skip Bayless basically just accused me of sleeping. And Jenny Taft is married. And so she was irate. And this happened on air. And that was my first clue. Like, oh, this dude is jealous of Shannon Sharp, and he's seeing ghosts everywhere.
Okay, now, guys, I let that play a little over a minute. You guys may remember the actual day that he decided to say this, which, of course, I've been looking for that clip, and the only person who actually has that clip of him basically saying what he said that kind of upset Jenny Taft was Clasher Sports. Now, guys, I'm going to play this for you guys. Obviously, it's been edited a little bit with the proper editing to avoid copyright, that they're coming from Clasher Sports. But I'll also link the clip, the full clip, in the description box, and also, which of course, that'll also be the channel as well. But let's watch this.
On with your girl today, and when you come back, she may not be your girl anymore. Shan Jen has already discussed this. We knew this was going to happen, so we're good.
If you're giving a pep talk to kids, I don't see you using any swear words.
I don't know about that.
I just don't.
No. I do my best not to.
I think you have a lot to learn about your man Shannon.
I just don't see it.
She got on them Laker color. You see what she got on today?
Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize
Yeah.
that for you.
Don't worry about it. Old Shan Jen. Old Shan Jen.
How are you,
Ready?
Jenny? No.
No. Come on.
No.
Are we ever gonna get there?
I can't do that.
No, it's too soon.
Don't worry about it.
Gosh.
Your boy got you.
Now I'm definitely on
Your boy,
Shannon's side.
Jenny.
Thank you.
Jenny and I go back like coffee.
Yep. I got that.
Way back.
Your boy,
Shannon's side.
Jenny.
Thank you.
Jenny and I go back like coffee.
Yep. I got that.
Way.
That there is apparently what set Jenny Taft off. There's also another clip that went viral that I'm going to play for you guys with a header over it. And then I'm going to play the clip again of the B-roll footage for you guys to see Jenny Taft's facial expressions, where she basically puts Skip in her place. But make sure you guys pay very close attention to Skip Bayless's body language and his facial expression at the end of it. Let me roll it.
If his motivational speech was the most inspiring, but criticizing his appearance, I don't know if I think that is a fair shot for Mike McCarthy. I'm going to leave it at that. Chris Broussard.
Thanks, Jenny. I appreciate that.
I don't think it is a fair shot.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's a fair shot.
Is
either.
everyone
That's my
who's a
opinion.
good coach
Yeah.
as fit as you, Skip? I don't think that's a fair shot whatsoever.
I wouldn't want. I said it was a personal preference, and I wouldn't want him to be my head coach.
That have not had the perfect ideal physique, including my college coach. So I don't think that's a fair shot.
Okay.
And I'm allowed to have an opinion, Skip. I am allowed to say whatever I want to say on this show, as you do too. Chris Broussard will join us and he will react to Westbrook's comment, and maybe I have more to say next.
Yes.
Now, of course, you guys heard that, and you guys are now seeing right here in the B-roll footage, which, of course, I'll let it run again while I'm talking, because this cut's probably going to be about 2 minutes long. It almost feels to me like Skip may have known that he screwed up. All right. Now, that's not to defend Skip Bayless. Trust me, Skip Bayless has had a lot of takes, a lot of things that he has said that, quite frankly, I cannot defend. But, of course, it kind of goes back to what Jason Whitlock was saying about the possibility of Shannon Sharp potentially getting Skip Bayless fired, or, being in on the lawsuit. My bad. But still, though, the point is this here. Skip Bayless has always struck me as a massive blowhard. He's always struck me as a great big giant bullcrapper. That right there is what he's always struck me as, and that's how I'll always see him. He's not exactly somebody to take serious. Skip Bayless says some stuff that really triggers the hell out of people. He evokes very strong emotions. He did that when he worked at ESPN. However, I always felt that the chemistry he had with Stephen A. Smith was just a little bit better. Like they were actually being a little bit more real with one another. Whereas with Shannon Sharp, it felt more and more like maybe Skip was trying to intentionally antagonize Shannon. But then again, though, knowing what we know about Shannon nowadays, yeah, it's possible that Skip Bayless may not have actually been aware of him insulting Shannon Sharp and basically hitting him as a man right there. I mean, it's one thing to criticize somebody's take. It's one thing to criticize somebody else. But the way this happened and Shannon Sharp's, the noises that came out of his mouth and the way Shannon was acting seems to me, like I said yesterday, something that Shannon Sharp would obviously not forget, because it was obviously something that affected Shannon as a man. Meaning that Shannon Sharp obviously felt like Skip Bayless may have possibly attacked his manhood. I mean, I said it myself that I think that Shannon Sharp lost points as a man during that entire discussion. I said this right on my very, very first take on this. I also said it during the DeMar Hamlin situation, and I'm not going to play that for you guys because for whatever reason, you can't find it here. And not mentioning the fact that FS1 is really, really bad about copyright. But still, though, the point is this here. I don't think Skip Bayless is aware. Like, I don't think this guy has any self-awareness, any at all. And that it's all 100% totally false bravado, as Jason Whitlock points out with Marcellus Wiley here.
And Marcel, I've come with the explanation of, look, that's lawyer spin, that probably what Nusheen argued, because Nusheen and Skip, from my eyes, were very, very close. Saw them together constantly. She did his hair. They seemed very friendly. And my deal is like, I think Skip took this competition with Shannon Sharp too far And the next thing you know, he's trying to compete with Shannon Sharpe in the sexual Olympics, in the flirtation Olympics with the hair and makeup people. And so he done got so comfortable with Nusheen that they joking back and forth. And so at some point I could see him perhaps saying something flirtatious and her saying, well, I wouldn't do that for $1 million. And he's like, I'll give you $1.5 million. And at that time, it's all funny and games. When a lawyer hears it years later, it's something completely different.
Now, you guys heard all of that, and I tend to agree with it. But the question then becomes, then if that's true, then why name Skip Bayless in the lawsuit? Well, my thinking is that it may be the fact that maybe Skip's one of those guys where he says offensive crap all the time, not realizing he's saying offensive crap. And it has happened so daggone much that his hairdresser, who, by the way, is around him all the time, may not remember what was actually said. She just may remember the most outrageous thing that he did say, and is probably using that against him. The fact is that Skip Bayless is not somebody to take serious, nor should anybody out there take him serious. I mean, seriously, go back to the night that Damar Hamlin hit the deck on the field and Skip Bayless decided to put out a tweet, not realizing what was going on, asking the question whether they were going to continue the game or not. Now, he would eventually come out and apologize, and I actually think that Skip took that like a man, which, by the way, Skip Bayless has been in the business for a long time, and he does know how to take it like a man, especially when he's wrong. But, of course, we also know he's full of false bravado, and he believes his own hype and all that horse shit there, too. The fact of the matter is this right here. It would not surprise me if Skip Bayless did not have a history of saying such very, very stupid things. And due to the fact that he's not self-aware or potentially on the spectrum, yeah, he may have said a thing or two that, quite frankly, a certain hairdresser would remember and then would use in a lawsuit against him. Not to mention the fact that he's 73 years old and maybe it's time for him to retire. And maybe this might be the thing that actually makes him retire. Still, though, Skip's got a lot of questions he's going to have to answer at some point in time. But you guys tell me what you think in the comment section. I would love to hear what you guys have got to say. Me, personally, I just think that Skip is just a great big giant blowhard that probably really and truly is on the spectrum. Please hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sign off in the comment section. Saturday's video will probably be my reaction or my thoughts on the Superman trailer that dropped over a week ago. Yes, I'm talking on old stories, and I'm probably going to have that OF video out on Sunday. The reason why is because it's become quite predatory, and even though the NFL playoffs are going on, I'm still going to have a couple of videos out. Also, something else, too, The Last of Us 2 HBO Max trailer dropped. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on that and what I think is probably going to happen in the series. I did say I was going to be doing a lot more pop culture takes here in the near future and probably some video essays on movies, what the point was, and warnings and stuff like that soon, too. But I'll probably start sometime in February or March. Still, though, with that there being said, please hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, enjoy the weekend, and I'll see you guys later.